Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking to world famous Ashley James from Ashley James Gardens. So Ash was on episode 13 of the podcast back in August of 2021. So I thought, since it's been over 3 years, I'd get him back on to talk about what he's been up to. And there's been a fair bit of change in the time between now and then, as we discussed in this episode, where he went from having, I think, 8 staff at the time. Now he's just got the one. And he's also doing a lot of other deals on the side, where he's working with the real estate agents, magazines, and seed supply companies. So he's got a couple of side projects that he's working on in conjunction with the design and installation business. And one of those things he's been doing is writing for the Home Beautiful magazine. And I love that he's a big fan of Edna Walling, and she was originally a writer in the Home Beautiful magazine as well. So that's a pretty cool story where he's also got the name of the article from. So I did enjoy that part of the chat. And one of the other things we spoke about in this episode is that we're both heading to a Cass Hooke's garden event, so Outback Gardens on Instagram. So her also world famous garden event, which sold out in seconds. So Ash and I are doing a talk up there and workshops, and like we said in this chat, I'm just excited to be a part of the event, let alone excited to go to the event, let alone be a part of it. And we didn't mention it in the chat, but there's raffle tickets. So there are raffle tickets available for an insane amount of prizes that Cass has organised through various sponsors. And there's 20 grand's worth of prizes up for grabs, and they're only $10 a ticket. So if you're listening to this before the 26th of October, which is when the event is on, you can go onto the website or the link in the description to grab a ticket there and see if you can win a prize. And I think it's only New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria people. So you can do that. But we'll get on to the chat with Ash. But before we do, I just wanted to give people an indication on the type of person that Ash is, because I do get people asking me every now and then, because he's does come across different when you see him when you meet him in person to what he is walking through meadows of flowers. He's one of the great people to hang around with, and I reckon probably twice in the last couple of months, he's actually called me up because he was concerned whether I was doing okay because of something he spoke about to someone or something they heard. Like, I've been 100% fine, but no one's ever done that before that I'm aware of, so it meant a lot. So he's actually quite an awesome person, and I'm very lucky to have him as a friend. So he's not just a pretty face. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Ashley James. Ash, thank you for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast for the second time. Only another 7 more times and you might get close to beating Peter Donegan.
I don't think anyone's going to do that, but thank you for having me back.
Well, there's a chance for someone to do it because I'm not having him on again. I've had enough of him.
Yeah, I've got to admit, so we just discussed it. I think you said I was maybe around your seventh guest.
It's early days.
And how many episodes have you released now?
It's about 215 around that.
All right, so for like probably a solid 200 of those, I've just been abused by all your other guests. So it's nice to be back to be able to defend myself against Josh Norman and Paul Pritchard and all the other boys. So
Yeah, well, we will get to that.
yes, we
But
will.
some of the criticism has been justified, I must say.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah,
You're
no, again,
welcome.
yeah, really glad to be here. Yeah, thanks.
So what I wanted to get you on for was because you've been in that time, that's probably 3 and a bit years, I think it's been going. So
Yeah,
you've obviously been doing a bit in that time.
yep,
Especially recently, you're a writer now, an acclaimed writer,
yep, that's right.
and you've also got your partnership with Meadow Flowers Australia, which I found pretty exciting because I like that style that you do with the meadow flowers and around your kitchen garden at your home. So I've actually ordered some myself. Literally today is when it got sent. So, talk about that one first. Tell us about how your deal with them came up. I assume it's because you've been using them for a while.
Yeah, I think so. So, Meadow Flowers Australia, I started using them during the pandemic when we were locked down at home and I was landscaping my own place. Discovered them online. They looked to be the style that I wanted to try and create to give off like an English kitchen garden theme. So I got onto those guys in the very early days, and at that stage, it was a family company that had been set up by Maurice. He has since retired. His daughter had taken over the business, I think just to kind of keep it going from a family point of view, and she's now sold it on to their general manager. So this lady that I've been dealing with for years has now taken over the company, and she just expressed an interest saying, look, would you be interested in doing a collaboration with us and creating your own seed range? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Like I'd love to do that. So we've teamed up and we've created the Ashley James seed range, which is kind of like a wildflowers and meadows for garden lovers. So we actually call it the gardener's cut flower and the gardener's meadow. They're the two varieties that we've got. And yeah, I just got asked to do it and just jumped at it. Just really excited to be a part of the opportunity to have a crack. And I don't know, it's kind of cool to stand back and see my name on a flower range too. I just thought that was yeah, pretty cool.
Did you have a lot of involvement in what actually went into it? Like, was it with that collaboration with them?
Yeah, so we sat down and we discussed the different options for the seed mixes. They had a range there for the cut flowers, so we've added and tweaked that one a little bit. I've trialed that one in the past, had really great results with it. We removed a few things from that I didn't want, and added a few things in there that I was a bit more, a bit keener on. And then as for the meadow, that's a whole new range. So the gardener's meadow. I haven't grown that myself yet. We've just gone through and put together a mixture of flowers that I know will work together. And I'm won't be this weekend, I think, or not next weekend. The weekend after, I'll be sowing those at my house. So yeah, keen to get them in the ground and see what they come up as.
And I've asked you this question already, but just so that other people might get the answers, because I wanted to try both of the mixes, and I'm putting it in my nature strip, which is like 30 something meters long and 2 meters wide.
Yeah.
So should I mix them all together, mix the two different types together and spread it all along, or have two separate sections?
So I would do it as two separate sections, and I recommend this to everybody purely just because when you combine. So with the actual seed mixes, you've got a combination of like anywhere from 12 to 20 different plant selections in that one collection. So for argument's sake, the gardener's meadow, there's so many different seeds and different varieties in there that if you then go and mix it with the cut flowers, they can kind of like battle each other. And for argument's sake, in the cut flower mix, we've got a Queensland lace, and that can be quite overbearing and powering to other seed ranges. So we do recommend that you don't mix them together and just kind of do them individually, different plots. You might do some at the back of the house, some at the front of the house, but yeah, I would definitely keep them separate.
Are they like do they self-seed as well?
Yeah, so they're a mixture of annual and perennials. I always cut mine back regardless. But what I do is once summer's over and done with, and you get the seed ranges, the seed heads and everything like that come through. So I always wait till the end of winter before I cut everything back. And by the time I've done that, all the seed heads have self-sown. If they haven't, you give them a quick shake out and they're all going to come back up again the following year.
Maybe I shouldn't put it on my nature strip then, because I've got like a creek across the road. It might end up going all the way down the creek.
That's all right. You might get us famous, mate. The Ashley James Ray just taking over the local
You might have
wildlife.
the Ashley James Creek.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I don't know if I read it on your because you wrote an article about sowing about wildflowers,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I read it there or on their website, but talking about mulching it, I think you said to use a lucerne mulch, was it, or a sugarcane mulch?
Yeah, sugar cane. So I always recommend that you use a sugar cane and just a light dusting with that. What that's going to do is it's going to stop the seeds from blowing away. It's going to prevent the birds from coming through, and but it's still quite nice and loose for the seeds to be able to germinate and grow through. So I use sugar cane for a lot of stuff, like on my garden beds inside the kitchen garden where I've got all my broccoli and corn and everything. Everything's mulched with sugar cane.
I use like Daisy's water saving mulch for all our gardens. Could I use that lightly?
You could do because the water saver it's very much like a soil-based mulch. So I use that on my ornamental gardens and when I'm designing for other people, I use that or I use like the shore crop from Fulton, something like that on my garden bed when I install for clients. So yeah, you could definitely use that.
Yeah, because that's a bit neater, I reckon.
It is. I think the sugarcane probably works a little bit better with my style of kitchen garden that I've got at my house because I've got that like country backdrop and everything like that. Whereas you've got the real contemporary, number five and everything. You start throwing that down, and your next door neighbors are going to think, the hillbillies have moved in. So
Well, that's not too far from the truth. So.
yeah.
so have you got plants that that'll come up early and then other ones like that to sort of roll on from each other, so keeps interest going all spring and summer?
It's not that you will necessarily get something that will come up sooner than the others, but you will have, so the way that it will work is as they germinate, you'll kind of get everything kind of come up in one hit. But then you might have some zinnias that will start to die back, and then as they start to die back, you'll have some cosmos that'll just come out of the gap and fill that gap in. But I think also too with my style of gardening and my style of garden design, you learn to appreciate and love all seasons of the garden. So we've got 3 months of summer where we've got these beautiful floral displays and blooms and everything like that. But then you get to fall in love with all the seed heads and the spent seeds, and it's a new appreciation for horticulture, I suppose.
Yep. And with your writing articles in Home Beautiful, has it been going about a year now, you reckon?
Yeah, so it was 12 months. So my year anniversary for the latest article that's just come out, which is the November column. So yeah, I absolutely love that. I'm really chuffed when I was approached by them to do that. I was had a little bit of anxiety because if my English teachers from high school knew that I was now writing for a magazine, I think they would fall over backwards. And when you talk to me, like I'm a fairly like I don't know, yocker kind of bloke, but the way I write is very, very different. And I thought I would struggle with it, and then I realized, look, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and if it's anything that I do know, it's gardens. And I've actually loved it. I've really, really enjoyed it. And you'll get a rain day where it's pelting down with rain outside, and I think to myself, like, oh, I'll go and write an article for Home Beautiful, and it's great. It's been really, really good. I've really enjoyed it. And when I was approached, one of my biggest influences in the trade is Edna Welling. Um, just very inspired by her work. She comes from over in the UK with Devon, and her earlier work with those like kind of cottage gardens, obviously a big influence with the style that I have. And she used to be a garden writer for Home Beautiful magazine. So when they approached me, I said, look, would you mind if I called it the Gardener's Log, which is the name of one of Edna's books as a tribute to Edna, because she was a garden writer for you guys for many, many years. She wrote many articles, and they loved the idea, and we went with that. So for the 12-month anniversary, I actually wanted to write an article thanking Edna and paying homage to her. But I've put on the back burner until next year because that's the 100-year anniversary of Home Beautiful magazine. So I'm going to look to create an article and pay homage to her then. So yeah, it's kind of like a real big privilege to follow in the shoes of someone that you really admire.
And how nervous were you when you submitted your first article?
Extremely. So I typed it out, I reviewed it, and then Eloise from Warner's Nursery. Not many people will know this, but she's an amazing writer. Has studied English at university, and I sent it all over to her. She reviewed it all, and she's yeah gave me the tick of approval. So I think when Eloise had signed off on it, I thought, no, I'm on the right track here. So.
No red writing on it when it came back?
No, actually, that's probably, she's quite a grammar Nazi, and I was probably worried about spelling mistakes, which is so easy to do in this trade. Like, unless you're fluent in Latin, it's just so easy to do. And her plant knowledge is so much better than mine. So sending her over the article, there was a little bit of anxiety waiting for that to come back, and it was almost like being in high school again to see how the teacher had graded your work. So, but no, it all came back with yeah, ticks of approval, and submitted my first one, and yeah, just kind of found my flow and the rhythm after that. It's been much better.
Yep. Yeah, it could be worse if it was verbal. So, because the pronunciations on some botanical names is it blows me away. Like sometimes I've heard people talk about a plant and I didn't know what they were talking about, and then I realized that they're just saying it weird. Like I've heard people talk about liriopes,
Oh, okay,
whereas like
that's a bit of a stretch, but yeah, no, I do know what you mean, and I don't look, I'm completely honest. I don't know half the Latin names. It confuses me at the best of times. So a lot of the time I'm kind of my knowledge is there, and then getting it out, I'm using common names. Then there's so many different common names that it's yeah, it is a little bit frustrating.
And a new thing you've been doing, just started is with Jealous Craig Real Estate. Is that doing writing as well?
Yeah, so that's a really random one that kind of just came across my desk. So it's called the Tastemaker range. So basically, they approached me about being a part of this collaboration. And I was really interested because what they're doing is they're speaking to different professionals in different industries. So they've got an amazing interior design as part of it. They've got the architect from Grand Designs on it, and they're
That Peter.
doing yeah, and they're doing a bunch of videos and like how-to stuff. So I haven't done any of the filming content yet. I've just created the first article. That was just to kind of test the waters. And then from there, we're going to do like the design process on how to design a garden, different elements that I look for and worked on. And yeah, I don't know, it's just an amazing opportunity that came up, and I jumped on it and said yes, and we'll just see what comes from it and where it goes.
Uh, so have you got like thought about having an agent before, or these just all come across your desk?
What do you
Just
mean having an agent?
yeah,
Are you serious? No.
absolutely. Like
What?
getting you like other opportunities like this and getting a good payment for it.
Oh no, I've never thought of that.
I'm not taking the piss.
Yeah, no, I've never ever thought
Like
of.
I wouldn't use the same like your modeling agent, not that type of person.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
smart.
just
I
I'm
see where
talking
you're
different
going.
one.
No, no, I've never thought of that. I didn't even know that was an option. No, this stuff just kind of comes across. I guess the majority of it comes from Instagram and social media. I've been really slack on socials ever since it went from posting photos to you've got to create a reel. I mean, you're the perfect example, right? So for me, like I can get these beautiful photos of these gardens, and I kind of go, all right, bang, I'll do a little blurb about that, and I'll post it. Well, what used to get me 4,000 likes on Instagram, it's now like a couple of hundred, 400 likes, whatever it is. And I don't have the time, the patience, or the creativity to come up with a reel where it's turf walking itself into the backyard and then laying itself. Like what you do, yeah. So I don't know how much of it's from socials anymore, and how much is from, articles and stuff that have been print and shared, I guess. That's why I say yes to opportunities like this, because it puts my name out there in the industry and opens the doors to other opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, like that's where like an agent would get like they would contact they'd have a already have contact like at Bunnings or Mitre 10 or something, and then you can
Yeah.
almost
I think probably the biggest problem is people, I probably come across a lot more confident than what I actually am. Like I do second guess myself a lot, and I don't know if anxiety is the right word for it, but I do get nervous with a lot of things. Like even like next weekend with the event that we've got coming up, like I'm nervous to go and talk in front of all these people. So although I cop a lot of stick in the industry, I don't know if I'm as confident as what people may think that I am. So, like, I couldn't stand there and be like, get on down to Bunnings. We got a sale on snags today. Like, I just couldn't do that. So, yeah, I like the doors that have been opened at the moment, but I'm also able to pick and choose the ones that I want to do. And I've been offered stuff in the past with like large. Figure out how I word this without being sued, large power tool companies that would maybe be for like a DIY dad brand. I've been offered opportunities and stuff with people like that, and I've said no because it's not on brand with what I do, and I don't really want to sell my soul for something like that. So
are you having a go at Nick?
at Nick,
Yeah, he's a DIY dad.
oh yeah,
Ballsy good Nick.
yeah. No, he's just landed like a full MCG contract after everything he's done, hasn't he?
That looked pretty good.
It did look very good. Yeah, credit where credit's due. He did an amazing job with that.
And you spoke about the garden event that we're doing next weekend. Is it next weekend?
Yep.
What day is today? Yeah, today's. So we're doing this on the Friday week before. But so that's with Cass Hooke from Outback Gardens.
Mhm.
So as soon as I saw your name on the list, I sent her a message saying I have to get involved because Ash is involved and I have to do anything that he does.
Yeah, which was, very nice of you to drop the restraining order for that weekend and you to be a part of it. But it was nice for Cass to include you, and there was a pecking order the top of the list. Obviously, their names are higher up on the list, which we did see there. But no, it should be a really good weekend. Actually, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list at the moment, and there is we are the bookends on that list. So
Oh, both of us.
yeah, so you're at the top, I'm at the bottom.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay then.
You prefer being at the top?
All right.
So,
That's not the kind of podcast, Joel.
so there's yourself, Karen Daniel from Wren's Flower Farm and Wren's Florista.
Hmm.
Keith Edwards is one of the greats. Like I love his Instagram stories that he
Yeah.
does every morning. Colin Southwell is an interesting one with the garden curator because I think I just saw that because Graham Rowe's doing his first what are they called? Garden tours with Graham Ross, like
Is
as
he
we
really?
speak.
I thought Graham Rowe was selling Ferraris or something else these
I think
days.
he's
No, he's come back to gardening again.
I think you've got something in common with him now, working for the real estate agent.
Oh, there you go.
That's what it is.
Um,
But
Colleen's one that I'm really looking forward to. I mean, they're all amazing guests, but I'm a big fan of her work. We've got very similar styles, and she's an amazing artist, and I'm really looking forward to meeting her.
yeah, because I think yeah, so he's doing his at the moment he's doing his first tour, and I think pretty sure I saw her say that they're going to her garden as part
Oh,
of
cool.
one of the days of the tour, like
Yeah.
a 10-day tour. And there is Sarah Curry from Majors Mulch and Joel Barnett from InStyle Gardens.
Who?
Um, some just had to might have to be 2, 4, 6, had to be even numbers, I think.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Dan Oldhouse must have been busy that day.
yeah, it's not enough, not hard enough for him. It's too easy of a challenge. He likes
That's
more
it.
of a challenge.
Yeah.
And there's some stalls there with Henseath Trading, Majors Mulch, the Gin Garden Club, which I'm interested to see how much that is about gin or what where the name comes from. Backyard gardening enthusiast, two Billy Buttons. When I read that, I thought, oh, is this what's included in the show bags?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
might get two Billy Buttons. So yeah, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be. Hopefully the weather's good because that'd be how I can imagine how stressful that would be. Worried about what the weather's going to be like on that one day.
Yeah, I know. It's so. I mean, this time of year you'd expect it to be warm, but it's still so all over the shop. So it's a bit tricky at the moment.
Yeah, well, in the last 24 hours we've had 80 mil of rain, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It.
that would put a dampener on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing one of the what are they called?
He
Um,
talks on stage.
yeah, on stage talking.
Yeah, I think you're with Colleen and
Yeah,
stuff.
can't remember what they're called.
Like, is yours like a Q&A or what's yours?
Yeah, that's it. Q&A panel. That's the
Yeah.
one.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So myself, Cass, and Colleen. So,
Yeah, perfect.
but what you're saying before about being nervous about talking in front of people is it's if you were going to talk in front of people about selling Ferraris or selling houses, you're going to struggle to do that because that's not what your passion is.
Yeah.
But talking about what you do, it's easy to do.
Yeah,
Well,
and
easier.
yeah, it is definitely easier. And I should probably give myself a little bit more credit because these people have, I mean, these tickets sold out in like 3 minutes. Like, I think you called it like we're the new Taylor Swifts.
Well, I would say we.
Well, yeah, Colleen and everyone else, but it's yeah, incredible. Like it's sold out in 3 minutes. Cass had a wait list of guests still trying to get in, and I think she's still got people trying to get in. She said she's got a lot of local people offering to volunteer at the moment, and I think that's purely just so they can actually get in there. So yeah, and there's so many amazing sponsors, and it's for such an amazing cause that yeah, it's just great to see everybody get behind it. So. I think you're right. Like I've got people there that are interested in my style, people that are interested in horticulture. I'm running, I think that we're doing two workshops and I've got
Yeah.
a on stage talk as well there. So
So are you with your workshops, are you doing the same thing twice or are you doing two different things?
I was doing the same thing twice. Are you doing two different things?
Uh, Depends how quick I do the first one because I'm going to be laying some steppers
Right.
out of mine. So if I get that done within the 45 minutes, then I'll have to think of something else on the spot.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Quick little Billy Elliot dance move.
yeah, yeah, I might just have to deliberately do it slow so that I can not have to think of another thing to do. Because
Yeah.
I've got to take some materials up there because I'm going to be mixing the mud and laying it and
Yeah, okay.
at the pavers, so it'd be a bit tricky to come up with some other thing. Um,
Yeah,
but
I'm
yeah,
I must admit, I when Cass asked me to be a part of it and told me what the charity was for and the connection with her son and everything, I just jumped on it. I said, anything I can do to help you out, Cass, like I'm there. And then it wasn't until I don't know. I'd like to say weeks, but I feel like it was months later that I actually read it properly and realized that we were hosting a workshop. I thought we were just going up there to do like a Q&A on stage. So I'm just going to do like a bit of a how I design gardens. I've got a sample case there from a garden that we finished before Christmas last year. I'm going to walk everyone through the design process and how I came up with it. And then I've got like before and after photos that I can show everybody too. And at this stage, I'm hoping that I still can. I'm going to try and run out to the nursery next Thursday and stock up a ute load of plants, and I can just kind of show people how I actually place plants and stagger stuff out.
Yeah, I like that idea because it's good seeing plants together. Like I find I design easier when I can see the textures and everything
Yeah,
and sort of visualizing them all together,
yeah.
seeing how they work. And then when you've got it all like in the back of the truck or wherever, you know that it's going to look good when it all
Yeah, absolutely.
together.
So we do like obviously like full garden designs and everything like that. But when it comes to plants, like I will do a planting design, I will do a specification, I'll have my list there and everything with my quantities and pot sizes. But a lot of the time, I will draw it out, and I'll always have my trees located where I want to have them. But a lot of the time, it comes to site, and I will play and adjust it majorly once it's on site. So I just think that being on site, visualizing it, seeing it, feeling the textures, and then just going, well, you know what? Like I had whatever it might be located for this area, but I actually think after being on site now, it's going to work better over here, and I'll alter and adjust it that way.
Yep. Yeah, I've said that plenty of times. Like you can follow a plan exact, but it's not the best. That might not be the best solution.
I agree.
Because if the person who knows what they're doing is there, they
Yeah,
might be something just half a meter. It's going to make a massive difference because
100%. Yeah.
like you could even make a mistake when you're placing the plants if you're just clicking and dragging or copying
Yeah.
and paste.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, it's also can be a challenge trying to get because if you're doing a big job, you might not be getting all the plants in on the first day. You might be doing it in stages, so there can be challenges with that.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I'm on a huge project at the moment up in Creswick. I've been building that. I think I started that in March. Took 6 weeks off in winter to winter prune and pretty much just been up there full time since. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have the plants delivered on site. There's probably going to take me a week just to space the plants, but I'll do section by section. So I'll go through and I'll allocate X amount of plants for one section and we'll space and plant that and then we'll come back and move on to the next one. So we might just have a bit of a nursery on site until they've gone in.
So when are they going in?
It's probably still about 3 weeks off, I'd say.
Yeah, starting to heat up a bit there.
It is, but it's fully irrigated. We've got bore water. We've got Midland irrigation going through, putting in a full retic system at the moment. So they should be pretty right.
So do you, when you've got projects with bore water, do you have to specify anything different for the plant? Like, do you have to like choose specific plants, or you can't choose some?
It's not so much that you've got bore water, it's the actual quality of the water in that bore, and every bore is going to vary and differ. So I've got a project down here in Kangaroo Ground where we manage a private estate every Friday. They've got a bore there, but then that also gets pumped into a desalination plant as well. So, you can start at one level, entry level, and then go right through to the desal plant. So just kind of comes down to how extreme people want to be, how much money they want to spend, and the quality of the water that's in their bore.
Yep. And the last thing on Cass's event is I just can't imagine how exciting it would be for the people who are going. Like how much of a fun day it would be. Just
Oh,
spend 6 hours just hanging out with people about their passion.
yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I've done events in the past, but yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I'm really excited to meet all these people, the guests, the host. I mean, I know quite a few people already. Chloe Thompson, who is the MC for the
I
event.
forgot about yeah, Chloe.
Yeah, so she's the MC for the event. We actually know each other because our kids go to school together and play basketball together, so I know her quite well now. But yeah, and then that takes out some of the nerves being on stage with someone that you already know, and she's so well spoken. She'll no doubt keep the conversation flowing. But yeah, then to meet all the guests up there, it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. Like it's gonna be awesome just to like I feel lucky to get to go. Like because I reckon it'll be an awesome day.
Yeah, and for a great cause too. So
Yeah.
I don't think we've mentioned it, but it's for Country Hope, which is a charity which raises money for sick kids, and I just think it's a great cause to get behind.
Absolutely. Yep. So, how's business been going for you? Because I have gone dead quiet with designs. Like I had to let go of my designer a few months ago, I reckon, because I
Yeah,
was just getting nothing. I tried some Google ads that didn't get a single inquiry, and I
yeah.
reckon I've only just last week had a design inquiry, which
Mhm.
I ended up palming off. But I reckon there's been probably 8 to 10 weeks where I didn't have a single design inquiry, and before that, I had enough to keep her busy full time.
Yeah. So when the boom happened, pandemic, just after the pandemic or whatever, I sat in this office for a year and a half, more or less full time designing. I could not keep up with the work. Between that and project management, I was flat out. Good money, wasn't breaking my back. Could pelt down with rain. I could still make an income, which was really handy because it was during that really wet season that it happened too. But yeah, geez, I reckon well, actually, I know. So for over 12 months, I've been back on the tools full time. Designs are now after hours or Saturdays because, yeah, I don't know, I'm not having it. I don't know if I'm probably not marketing myself right. Other people do a much better job of marketing. And obviously, other designers are still busy and making money. But yeah, from my point of view, designs have died right off. So I've jumped back on the tools to create and build a lot of my designs now too.
We're certainly not alone being quiet. I reckon there's a lot of people who are in the same boat, and there's certain things that I see people doing on Instagram that makes me know that they're quiet by what they're doing,
Yeah, I've picked up on that a bit in probably the last 3 weeks. I've really seen a bit of an influx on that.
at least.
Um, yeah, I actually picked it last year. I reckon it would have been maybe oh no, what would it have been? Maybe October, late October last year. I picked it. And I said, I feel like we're in a mini recession. And you'd speak to some people and they'd be like, no, no, we're flat out. I'm like, yeah, but is it flat out from work that you've had booked in for quite a while? Or is it new inquiries? And they're like, oh, no, it's probably stuff we've had booked in for a while because my phone wasn't ringing with that Christmas rush. And because we have that horticultural background, we'll quite often get someone call up and go, look, we just need to get like a full plant installed before Christmas because we've got Christmas Day here. Can you come and do it? Or can you send a crew out to clean this up or do this? And my phone wasn't ringing for those inquiries last year, which is the first time ever being out on my own. And I thought, yeah, there's something going on here. But there's a lot of uncertainty in the world at the moment. You've got cost of living, everything that's going on in the Middle East. Honestly, and people laugh at me when I say this, but I stand by it. Come November, depending on what happens with the US election, the flow and effect from that will come down to us as well. So there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, which is just probably uncertain times.
Yes, some of that is, but I don't. I reckon like a lot of people have an interest in the US politics, but I don't think it makes a. I don't think people are waiting to see who gets elected before they just get their garden designed.
It's not waiting to see who gets elected. It's the uncertainty with what's going on in the world at the moment. Well, I don't want to get too political, but in my opinion, it's because the US is the big powerhouse and the rest of the Western culture kind of filters down off that. It's that when they feel like everything is kind of in control, all their big companies, then the flow-on effect comes back to us, and then I think everything just kind of settles down a little bit.
Yeah, and it's a lot more like where things might be going in a sharp acceleration and then a sharp deceleration. I
Yeah.
think Australia is a lot more plateaued. Like
Yeah.
you get smaller bumps and smaller
Yeah.
dips. And it's
No,
the same with Geelong, the Geelong property market compared to Melbourne. Like
yeah.
Melbourne goes a lot more extreme than what we do. It's sort of float along
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
steady.
Yeah.
I reckon it's yeah, similar to that.
But yeah, I definitely think but then in saying that, like people have still got to be busy because you look at someone like Phil Withers, who's got like 8 designers full time, someone like, Miles Baldwin, I think he's freaking got like 30 designers full time. Like, so obviously people are still spending money on designs. It's just, I'm not too sure. I just think it's not as many. So the flow on effect is probably, you're just feeling the pinch a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm
I wonder if it's the same with construction as well. If there's companies who are starting to shut up shop because they haven't got any work.
I think that, but also just like the cost of doing small business these days, like it is ridiculous. ridiculous. It is so expensive for us to operate as a company. I'm blown away. I
Mm.
really am. How expensive it is for me just to turn up and work in your garden 5 days a week. It costs so much money for us to do that it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. As soon as you want a per anything that needs a permit, 7.5 grand.
Yeah, yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah. But it's everything like our insurances, it's everything's through the roof. So the old days of spending, $50 an hour on a tradesman are so far gone. But I still think a lot of people, when they're budgeting, that's what they think of. So I think that's probably, with cost of living at the moment, that's probably why people tighten up a lot too, because they'll get their prices or their quotes back, and it might be double what they were thinking or triple what they were thinking, and they're just kind of going, "Whoa, no, we'll put that on the back burner," type things.
Mm. And yeah, we're still busy with construction and for some good designers as well. So, like you say, there's still some people who are getting the designs, but
Yeah,
it might just be less. So, the
yeah,
smaller fish like me are not getting them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting how it happens. How it just can be
Yeah,
so
well, like
crazy
I said,
busy
you're
and
not
then.
alone. I can definitely feel the pinch on our end. So,
So, are you looking to? Are you wanting to do full-time design eventually?
yeah, I mean, I did it for a while. I think yes, but I think, yeah. So, yeah, full-time design, but definitely involved in the projects. So I'd want to be on site a couple of days a week, which is what I was doing, and then supplying, installing all the plants. That's my real passion. So that way I'm still out of the office and still, in the sunshine because I love whether it's, rain, hail, or shine. And don't get me wrong, we get all those days where you just kind of think, oh, stuff this, but I love being outside and I love having my hands in the dirt. So yes, I want to be designing full time, but I don't want to be in office full time.
Well, you could do like Andy Murray does and just go out one day a week, doing maintenance.
Which I do every Friday. We've got a large that private estate that I was telling you about. We manage that every Friday, so I'm on the tools with that, and we do everything there from the manicured landscape gardens to installing new garden beds to the vineyards and the orchards, and we manage it all. So that's always a good way to kind of finish off the week as well.
Yeah. And it'd be hard for you to give up those projects that you've taken them on from your old man, have you? Some of them?
Oh no, that's all well and truly gone now. No, a lot's
Uh,
changed since our first podcast interview. So I don't know how many staff members I had when we last spoke. At one point there, I was up to eight full time and two casual, I think. And now it's just myself and a apprentice. That's it.
right.
Yeah. So I completely changed my business structure and the direction that I was heading. And yeah, that's why you see me doing all these extra things because I just have no interest in having staff members. And I've learnt that I'm definitely not a businessman, and I'm probably more of like a creative artist, and I enjoy the process of doing everything myself.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we had that realization as well. But yeah, just trying to make it work and put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. It's a tricky balance, but I think that's why when I said, like, yes, I want to be doing the designs full time or getting back to that, but at the same time, I don't want to give up, the creative control and having my hands in the dirt and turning over soil. And I love real gardening, not like a Jim's mowing gardening or nothing against them, but not like a Jim's mowing gardening, but like a real gardening, like turning over garden beds and planting crop rotations, all that kind of stuff. Like I really enjoy doing all that, and I don't think I'd ever want to stop that.
Yep.
So,
Did you listen to it was Luke's last podcast that he did with Craig Castry about the benefits of leaving soil as it is and sort of adding to it, but not digging it all up.
no, I haven't listened to that podcast, but the no dig method, I've heard of people doing that. Yeah, it's quite big.
I may have completely misread what he was talking about, but because he's talking about microbiomes and the importance of all the microscopic stuff in the soil, and how if
Yeah.
when you start digging all that up, then you're sort of destroying all that.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably right, but for the last 20 years, like I still get a pitchfork, a garden fork, I turn it all over, I add in my compost, my manures, whatever it might be, and it works well for me. So I kind of just keep sticking with that old school way of doing it.
Yeah, he does talk about composting everything, but and when I was listening to the episode, because it's like a quite a full on episode, I was thinking at the time you kind of need to be in the right headspace to be listening to that kind of thing,
Yeah,
and
okay.
and I was not in that headspace. I was thinking of other things and driving, and so I might have completely misread what he was talking about, but I remember when he was on the first time, I was fascinated what he was talking about. So it was a good episode to listen to.
Yeah, and someone like you mentioned Keith before, like his knowledge on stuff like that is incredible,
Yeah.
and he'll have, we can pick his brain on the weekend. He'll know so much about that. I've got a lot of the stuff that I do is traditional horticulture, I suppose, has been going for hundreds of years, and I just find that it does work. But yeah, each their own,
Have you heard Keith talk about the moon calendar?
No.
Well, that's fascinating.
Okay.
You should, yeah, because on his he's got a podcast, the Muddy Boots podcast,
Maybe boots. Yep.
and there's an episode where they spoke about that. Or that I think they got on the person who sells them. Um, but yeah, there's certain days where you want to sow your seeds. There's 2 days every 4 months or whatever it is based on the moon.
Right.
There's all sorts of different things. There's the right days to hedge your plants because all the juices are flowing through the plants. Yeah,
Yeah. See,
it's
that's
fascinating.
I actually had this a similar conversation today with one of my subcontractors who helps us out on a Friday, and she was talking about stuff like that, and it might be correct, but from a business point of view, it's not achievable.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you've got 2 days a month where you can actually do something, well, I'm sorry, it's going to happen 5 days, 6 days a week because you need to keep that income turning over. So yeah, sometimes it's practical and sometimes it's not. But another one that's really good for that, and I'm still waiting for you to get him as a guest on the podcast. And when you do land him as a guest on the podcast, I'm going to do a Peter Donegan, just jump in there and be a co-host. But Monty Don is really fascinating and interesting to listen to with all that kind of stuff because he works off a lot of the old school calendars where, people would do the harvest and the feast seasons over in the UK, and he still works off a lot of that. It's quite interesting to hear him talk about that.
Yeah. Have you heard him on many podcasts?
Uh no, probably not. But I have high hopes for you, Joel.
Yeah. Well, I did get a reply from his office, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that they're coming on, but I got a reply, so that's more than some people give me.
Yeah, okay. I can't understand that. I think if you're going to reach out to people, I get that everybody's busy. We're all busy, but if you're reaching out to someone, and if they don't want to do it, then just say, look, it's not my thing. I'm sorry, but yeah, at least give you the time of day. I do get that you're a little bit of a creepy looking fella, but it's not that hard to say no, thanks. It's not for me.
Yeah, yeah. There's some people who don't see the messages as well. Yeah, and then after a while, it disappears.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said many times, the only thing I don't like about the podcast is the effort of getting people on. But
Yeah. Yeah.
apart
Okay.
from that, love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've heard you say like you would do it full time if you could. So
Yeah,
for you to say that, when I obviously know you personally and know how passionate you are about the industry, but also being on the tools and building everything. For you to say that, it's obviously shows you how interested you are in it, and how much love you've got for it. And you've done a lot of episodes now, like it's come a long way. So
I'd get so sick of it though if I was doing a full. I'd get a booker. That's what I'd do because that's what actual
you get
big
a what?
podcast. A booker.
Wow.
That's what it's like an
Yeah.
agent for
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. No, you just yeah. Pronounce
Oh,
that. Pronounce that B, mate. Yep.
well, she'd have some great stories, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's people that's their job. But then again, I get those emails, I suppose, and then you then talking about not replying. Um I don't know if it's just because I've got the podcast, but or if other people get those emails as well. But you get emails asking people to come on the podcast. They'll say, "Oh, hi Joe, I love your podcast. I've got just wanted to see if you would like Ashley James to come on. He can come on and talk about these 3 points." And he's run this successful business, so they sort of sell people to get on,
Mhm.
and they're always completely irrelevant.
Do you get those emails, do you?
Yeah, as I was saying, when I said I don't know if other people get them, and then I said I love your podcast, it made me realize it's because I've got the podcast that's
Yeah,
why
okay.
I get them.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are from America. They've got no idea that I'm in Australia,
Yeah, okay.
and like some, yeah, they're just talk like they're all talking about lawn mowing and just things that are completely irrelevant to the Australian market.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll get creative and just to try and point out how pointless it would be to have that person on. But most of the time.
Insane that, but like, how many followers have you got on Instagram now?
69,000.
And what, 60,000 of those are from South America? So, like, I do understand the confusion.
Yeah, but not North America. So that's where
Oh,
I
sorry, I
get it.
apologize. Yeah, no,
So
I apologize.
yeah, but yeah, I'm actually doing a tour of Argentina and Brazil in the coming months.
What do
Part
you
of
mean?
doing podcast tour because I'm so popular over there. They wanted me to go over there and have a chat to some people. I
Yeah.
haven't had any guests on from over there yet. That's what I should do. Imagine how good that episode would be.
Oh, yeah,
Popular.
sure that'll go down great with your wife when you tell her you're going over there for 2 weeks to interview people for a podcast that you don't get paid for.
She would love it. She'd ask
Oh,
me to go for longer.
yeah.
Do you have any recommendations of any Argentinian landscape designers?
Look, off the top of my head, no.
What about Brazilians?
Yeah, Jorge over there is pretty good, I think. And
You're
no, sorry,
Portuguese.
mate. Yeah, no, I'm more UK based with my recommendation. Sorry about that.
Well, they don't get back to me either. You mate Polly.
Well, let's tag her in on this part. Pollyanna Wilkinson. Joel is still waiting for you to come onto the podcast. I'm going to send you a message now, and yeah, please come on and speak to Joel.
Because her podcast is a lot of fun too. So she would
Yeah, the
be,
ins and outs with Jojo Bar. That's a hilarious podcast. Those two, the banter that those two have, it's just they just bounce off each other so well.
yeah.
It's a very informative, entertaining, and inappropriate podcast at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I talk about as being the perfect ratio, not ratio, formula.
Yeah.
That's what I want it, yeah. But education and entertainment is what you want in a
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, no, they do a great job together. Those two are both kicking goals, and they do amazing work in their industries.
I've actually been meaning to message Tom Massey actually, but I thought I'd wait till Chelsea calmed down a bit. But
Yeah, big fan of his work.
yeah, I love the garden that he did at Chelsea. Like that was yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. I believe he's just bought a book out not too long ago. He was just rated in the top 50 designers over there as well. Like he's doing some amazing stuff.
But Peter Donegan was in that he was in a top 100 one, wasn't he?
Who's that? Sorry?
Peter Donegan, you may not have heard of him.
No, where's he from?
Triple Island.
Oh, Ireland. Really? Jeez, I never would have guessed that.
I didn't see what number he was, but I'm pretty sure he got selected in a top 100
No,
for
I think that was a list from the 1990s.
that was a list of Irish designers to have built a garden at Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show. He was in the
Yeah, that's it.
top
Wow.
100. He came last.
No, I love Pete. He's good value.
He is. He is. I haven't spoken to him in a little while, but I don't know if he's coming out for Mifkas this year.
He's not doing another one this year, is he?
Not that I've heard, no.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It probably depends if Mazda's going to sponsor him and get him out to
No,
try.
not Mazda, he's Peugeot.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Yeah. No, he did a great little James Bond strut there coming out of that car with his suit. So, yeah, no, we'll see. I just love the fact that you've got an Irish designer that's traveled all the way to Australia. And when we catch up for dinner and drinks, he wants to go to an Irish pub.
Yeah,
I thought that was okay.
I
Well,
found that
see the
interesting
world there,
also.
Pete.
Just tasting the local cuisine.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just wanted to see what the Guinness was like down under.
I can't remember. I think I asked him if it was the same, but he probably said he probably had some tail that he then spoke about, went on a tangent. And I don't know if
Yeah.
he actually answered me.
That's probably when you're giving him a ride home to his hotel room.
Yeah, with a big mixer on the back, so he likes talking about.
Yeah.
Well, last question for you then would be the one I always ask at the end is who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast? Well, I don't know if I asking this back in the first time you were on?
No, you weren't.
No.
I don't think you were.
But in saying that, you've probably recommended more good people to have on than anyone else has in
Yeah,
messages.
and I've
Thank
regretted
you
it
for
ever
that.
since because they just give me non-stop crap on every single episode that they're on. But that's
Well, you need to vet who you recommend. Make sure that
yes,
they'll
that's true.
positively be up for you.
That is true.
And I don't lead them down the bad path to the easy snipes.
Yeah. So I did put a bit of a list together for you on this one.
Thank you.
So I've got international guests that I reckon you should speak to, and I've got some homegrown ones as well. The top of my list on the international one is Christian Douglas. So he is a UK designer, but he's based in California. And his work, I'm obsessed with his work. It's amazing. So it's a mixture of ornamental and productive gardens, and they're just stunning. So I did recommend to you to speak to him a little while ago. I reached out to him, and he wasn't able to do it at the time purely just because it was a conflict of interest with his book release. But that is out and available now. So I'll send him another message and get him on because I'd love to hear his backstory. He's from the UK. He's created stuff at the Chelsea Flower and Garden Show, and then set up his own practice in America. And he's got the design company, but then they've also got the Backyard Farm Co., which is just incredible, where they have like a team of gardeners and farmers that will install and manage your harvests at home. So yeah, really, really keen for you to get him on and speak to him. Another one from over in the UK would be Jamie Innes. He's an amazing garden designer with a great horticultural background. Used to be with Artisan Landscapes, is now out on his own and doing some incredible stuff. Jared Lockhart is over in New Zealand. He does some incredible work and would really like to hear his backstory. Over in New Zealand again, Em Sage from the Sage Gardening Journal. She has created a platform which you mark my words on this, this will be as big as the design files, but from a gardening point of view, and she's doing some incredible work. She'd be a really good one to speak to. I've been lucky enough to have, I think, three projects featured on her platform now, which is I was really chuffed about. The biggest one I would love for you to get from the UK would be Sarah Price. She's based in Wales, and her work is just incredible. Like I think she's probably my favorite designer who's out there. Coming back to Australia, I know that we've spoken about it, but I really think you need to get him on is Sam Cox. By far the best naturalistic landscaper in Australia, if not, worldwide. Like he's incredible. Sam wouldn't know me from a bar of soap, but he's 10 minutes down the road, and like our styles are chalk and cheese. Like he's all Indigenous, native, and everything that I do, it's like, an expat. But I really, really admire him. Saint Remy is a new one that I've kind of only just come across. They've done stuff at the Melbourne Flower and Garden Show. They do beautiful garden designs, amazing perennial works and stuff like that. Another one that I think you should get on is Eric Holt. He's an incredible landscape photographer and landscape designer. Believe he started off with Ian Barker, did his time there. From there, went to Mud Office, was designing with them, and now I'm pretty sure he's doing landscape photography full time. He does a lot of the big names, so whether it's Ian Barker, SJ Landscapes, like he's doing a lot of the big time photography, so he'd be a really good one to speak to. Nathan Burkett's another one. Nathan's quite cheeky with the way that he's just slowly taking over our industry. He's got the design business with Nathan Burkett Landscape Architecture. He's also got botanic horticulture, and he's got fields landscaping as well. So they're now kind of like a one-stop shop with everything that they're doing, and that's quite impressive. He's also got his own nursery. So yeah, he's doing some amazing stuff. And another one that I think would be great to speak to from a business point of view would be John, the landscaping coach. Now he's worked with people like Fig Landscapes, Harrison Landscapes up in Sydney, Bondi Landscapes, a lot of really big, well-known and very good companies, and he's helped guide them through. So I think from a business point of view, he'd be a really good one to speak to. And I know you're always saying, you feel like you're working, you're not making any money. I feel like John would probably have the answers for a lot of the solutions on that one. So he'd be a good one to talk to as well. And then I'm not sure if you've had him on, but Peter Donegan from Ireland is pretty good too.
Well, that is 11 people you've recommended, which is a new record. So congratulations. If I had an applause soundbite, I would play it now, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, no,
But
sorry. I know that went for a while, but yeah, I really enjoy your podcast. I really enjoy listening to the guests that you speak to, and I knew you had the opportunity to come back on tonight thanks to Cass's event coming up. So I thought, look, I'm just going to throw it all out there and give you some names.
well, at least I can guarantee I'll get at least one of them to come on.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
and we've got to hit up Polly Wilkinson again, so we'll,
yep.
we'll try and get her on as well.
I've messaged her twice, so it's going to be a restraining order if I keep going.
I'll send her a
That,
message. Send her a
that's all.
message now and see what she says, and I'll start working on Monty Don for you as well.
I appreciate that. But that's also what I hate doing is messaging people more than once because you don't want to. I don't want to harass them.
Yeah.
But if they don't get back to you, you don't know if they've seen it, and yeah.
Yeah.
one of
But
the
I'll send Polly a message. I speak to her every now and then on Instagram, so I'll send her a message. And I'll hit up Christian Douglas for as well because yeah, his work's incredible. I'm not a big fan of the American landscapes, and it's nothing against them. It's just I find a lot of the American landscapes to be almost like Las Vegas with like fake rocks shooting fire out with water spilling over. And when I first discovered his work, I was kind of blown away, going, "Geez, this is beautiful." And then I realized, oh, he's actually English, and I feel like he's brought that sophistication over to the American landscapes and done an amazing job of it.
Yeah, there's some are like that, and you can see them, and as soon as you see it, you know it's from North America. But
Yeah,
then there's some that are that fit in everywhere as well. Even
yeah,
so, but I suppose that's the same with down here. Like there's some people whose all designs all look the same, and then
yeah,
there's people like you who do things that people like from the UK would have an
yeah,
affinity with. So
yeah,
yeah, it's good that there's people who stand out from the crowd.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll be interested to see. I'm going to message all of those people except one who I messaged recently and hasn't got back to me. So I won't do that person.
Okay.
But but yeah, I'll see how many we get out of that. So it'll be nine because I don't know if we'll do Peter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He can be a backup. So if you see Peter doing it on an episode soon, it means no one else got back to me.
Yeah, that's yeah, okay. I love
Unless I've got something specific to talk to him about, like he's going to the garden show, then maybe that's we might get him on. But I
I
don't think.
love that you just have Pete in the background there and he's always available. He just yeah, he loves to chat, Pete.
Well, I do appreciate that though.
Yeah, no, he's good.
And he's also got some good recommendations every now and then too. So he does come in handy.
Yeah, no, he's done some impressive stuff. There's a lot of banter between all of us, but no, he's done a lot of impressive stuff. So he's good list of contacts from him, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on again, and look forward to seeing you next weekend.
Yeah, so quickly before you go, are you going to be doing some content for Instagram for your followers with everything that you're doing up there with Cass's stuff?
Hadn't thought about that,
Right.
but yeah, why not?
Yeah. No, I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
All
Actually,
right.
speaking of Instagram, when you were talking about, you would do. I should have mentioned this at the time when you're actually talking about it, but that's not how I do things.
Classic
Uh,
job, I know.
yeah, it's part of the little potential ADHD. I don't know. But you were saying that photos don't work now because reels do. But I saw the Instagram CEO this morning when I woke up saying that carousels are good. Like carousels will get more reach than what a single photo will.
Yeah, the same thing. I've heard that too. But then all of a sudden, you're doing a photo drop with eight of the photos, and there's only so much content that I've got. So,
Just
it's a
you
bit-
post the same stuff because not everyone sees it.
yeah, that's true. There's a few people that just post the same stuff on repeat, and it seems to work for them. So,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe.
you might be seeing a fire pit pretty soon.
Yeah, okay.
Just that due again.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, you and your in your singlet with your bloody
Hairy
yeah,
shoulders.
yes, yeah, that's it, mate. So. No, I don't know. It's Instagram's a funny little beast, but it's a love-hate relationship because you need to be in part of it, and everyone needs to have social media to exist in the business world these days. So,
Well, that's not true. You don't need to.
oh, I think you do if you're a new guy.
It helps, I think. It can
Yeah.
help, but it can also hinder some people. Because you also see people who have got it and they haven't posted for 3 years and they're still going. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, mate. We can all just start doing some fake nails or I don't know. What was Hoppo on the Today Show doing?
yeah,
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 you
doing
got on there with bloody Carl Stefanovic.
yeah, yeah.
Cracker.
I should get him back on actually talk about what he's talking about because he's very cryptic and he's saying, "Hey, message me to see what I'm talking about."
Yeah, I think he's got to change his name from Hopkins Construction to like, the Gypsy Carpenter or something because he's
Speaking
just,
of someone who needs an agent,
yeah, there you go.
that would help.
Yeah, very
But
good.
yeah, he's been handy with some advice for me actually. I almost had a brand deal, so I messaged him to
There you go.
find out how much I should charge,
Yeah.
but then they didn't get back to me either. So I'm starting to sense a bit of a pattern here.
Yeah. I had that happen with with someone that I really wanted to be a part of and then they just went quiet and ghosted me and yeah, that one cut deep.
Yeah, like this is a work boot company, so whoever they deal with sent me a message saying, "Do you want to be part of this?
Yeah.
This is what we can offer." I said, "Yeah, sounds good. This is what I'll charge." And I said, that's too expensive. Will you do it for this price? And I would have done it for a free pair of boots. So I said, yeah, of course I'll do it for that price. So then they said, yeah, we'll get in contact with them. And then, like, I reckon 2 months went past and heard nothing. And then they messaged me saying, are you still keen to do this? I said, yeah, I just thought you must have actually looked at my page and realized that you didn't want me part of the brand. They said, no, I love your work. So happy to have you on. I said, yeah, still keen. And that was like a month ago.
Hang in there, but mate, because like I had that with Home Beautiful originally. They reached out and I said yes straight away, and I was really excited at the opportunity. And then they just went completely quiet, and I didn't hear anything back from them. And it was purely because the lady that had originally reached out to me was too busy in her role to go and outsource and find these new contacts. So then it was passed down the chain, so to speak, and then it was probably 10 months later I was picked up to start writing for them. So
Yeah.
there is hope there. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got such an awesome idea for the reel as well. Like I know I've had it since that day because I was just thinking of different ideas I could do. So
Yeah.
yeah, if they don't get on to me soon, I'm going to put my price up.
No, there you go. Mr. In Demand with his 69,000 followers. I don't even feel like I don't even have the following to be able to talk to you right now, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's quantity, not quality. I
Well,
love
I
it.
mean, I suppose with those that larger following, I guess it's your shout for dinner Saturday next Saturday night at the pub.
Yeah, I'll spend everything that I've made on Instagram. So we can have a cup of water each
Yeah,
if
perfect.
it's free.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, mate. I'll speak to you soon. I will see you next weekend.